I cannot believe that today is Katie, aka Insectoid Gal's 21st birthday. She doesn't deserve a happy birthday at all in this month, which is the Ramadan month of this year.
I know, right, my finest partners? Tuxtoons 2K2, aka Mr. Tuxedo Ted, deserved a happy birthday more than both Insectoid Gal and Star Dylan the Fripp Hero Boy 2K4. But we don't honor in Star Dylan's birthday, since today is not Star Dylan's birthday yet. What should we do with Insectoid Gal's 21st birthday? My partner's Lee Bill.
Hey my finest partners. I have a plan now.
What is it? Lee Bill, my partners?
We will turn Insectoid Gal's birthday cake into a tiny for her 21st birthday. But unlike Stephane and Stephane Gavin on Cyra's 15th birthday on June last year, we will sneaking into her house by hiding us using the grass.
Great plan, my finest partners. We will going to turn Insectoid Gal's birthday cake into a tiny on her 21st birthday. But instead, we will hiding in the grass before Insectoid Gal found us that we are hiding in the grass. After Insectoid Gal gone for a while from her house, we will turning her birthday cake into a tiny. That kind of girls doesn't deserve a happy birthday at all on this month. Mr. Tuxedo Ted, aka Tuxtoons 2K2, deserved a happy birthday on this month more than her. Ha 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 ha
ha ha.
Well, guess what on today?
Today is finally my 21st birthday.
And now, let's inviting my friends. Huh? What was that in the grass? It will have been a troublemaker's new plan of ruining my birthday? Well, never mind. I will inviting all of my friends to come over here to my house to celebrate my 21st birthday. Plus, I have to say congratulations to Rudrani the protagonist and Go Animator 2K7 for reaching 200 subscribers as well.
Well, my partner's Laura? And now Insectoid Gal has gone for a while to invite all of her friends to come over here to celebrate her 21st birthday. We will now going to turn Katie's birthday cake into a tiny. Just like what Stephane and Stephane did to Cyra's cake on Cyra's 15th birthday on June last year.
Alrighty, my partner's Lee Bill. Now, let's turn Insectoid Gal's birthday cake into a tiny. Then, we will get out of here before the owner, Insectoid Gal, coming here.
Yes, finally. We've turned Insectoid Gal's birthday cake into a tiny. No more birthday for her. Plus, unhappy 21st birthday to her.
I know my finest partners, and also, happy 6 days early 20th birthday to Mr. Tuxedo Ted, aka Tuxdoons2K2. Tuxedo deserved a happy birthday more than Katie, the ugliest girl in this month.
Well, my partners Laura, let's us get out of here before Insectoid Gal and her friends caught us here.
Well girls, time to celebrate my 21st birthday and Rudrani's 200 subscribers special with a dance party. Wait, what the? My birthday cake was now turned into a tiny. Oh no. My birthday cake was really turned into a tiny. Now my 21st birthday was ruined because of my birthday cake was turned into a tiny.
Man. I feel bad for you, Katie. I'm very sad that your 21st birthday is now ruined because of your birthday cake has turned into a tiny.
Who could be responsible for turning Insectoid Gal's birthday cake into a tiny? Just like what Stephanie and Stephane did to Cyra's birthday cake on Cyra's 15th birthday on June last year, which is 2021.
Alrighty, my partners Bill. Now, let's turn Insectoid Gal's birthday cake into a tiny. Then, we will get out of here before the owner, Insectoid Gal, coming here.
What? Oh my lord. So Bill and Laura was the one who turned my birthday cake into a tiny by sneaking to my house using the grass to hide them to my house? Wow. What a Stephanie and Stephane 2.0 Bill and Laura are. But, unlike Stephanie and Stephane on Cyra's 15th birthday on June last year, they literally sneaking to my house using the grass to hide them to sneaking to my house while I am gone for a while to invite 3 of you and the others to my house to celebrate my 21st birthday party. Molly, can you please call Bill and Laura's parents for sneaking to my house while I'm gone to inviting you gals and my other friends using the grass to hide themselves and ruin my 21st birthday by turning my birthday cake into a tiny.
Sure, Katie, aka Insectoid Gal. I'm calling Bill and Laura's parents for ruining your 21st birthday by turning your birthday cake into a tiny by sneaking to your house using the grass on hiding themselves from getting caught by you outside your house.
15 menit kemudian.
Crap. It's our parents. We're so busted right now, my finest partners.
Bill and Laura. We have a phone call from Molly Peterson, saying that you both sneaking into Insectoid Gal's house using the grass to make both of yourself didn't get caught by Insectoid Gal, and turning Insectoid Gal's birthday cake into a tiny. Is this true?
Well, the reason why we do sneaking into Insectoid Gal's house using the grass to turn her birthday cake into a tiny is because she keeps supporting Equin the Game House PC Boy 2000, which is a users who makes grounded videos out of us non-stop. So, that's why.
Bruh, Bill and Laura. Just because Insectoid Gal becoming Equin the Game House PC Boy 2000's BFF/bestie since October 2020 up to this year. It doesn't even mean you have to sneaking into her house using the grass without getting caught by her, and ruin her 21st birthday by turning her birthday cake into a tiny.
Besides, Equin has the rights to be friends with Katie, aka Insectoid Gal, and Insectoid Gal will be Equin's trusted friends whatever the hell he wants to. And for ruining Insectoid Gal's 21st birthday by sneaking into her house using the grass, and turning her birthday cake into a tiny. You both are grounded until day 18 of Ramadan 2022.
Go upstairs to your room right now and never come back until the Maghrib Adhan comes, which is the Ramadan breakfasting started at 6 p.m.